I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me. No, we're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all. We should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back. Starting from scratch, I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You will never be what I expected. Different frequencies, that's why we ain't connected. You know I will make it through. I got nothing to lose but you. It's true you're so far away, and it's true I can feel the same. It's another day, you know you want me to stay, but I go my way. I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not, because I still believe. You're my gravity. You're my gravity. You're calling out my name, but the echo numbs your pain. Sorry, but more than just a shadow, I'm more than just a man. You don't care how I feel, you don't know how I feel. No, you don't know how. I wash away the sorrow till my heart can beat again. You're my gravity. No, you're my gravity. I will let you go. The only thing that I know, you were my gravity, but now I had to leave. I will let you go. Why do you think that I want? Why do you think that I want? I know how to breathe into my gravity. 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 I know it's hard, I know it's complicated, but I promised you I've been waiting here forever. I had a much to say, but you're not here with me. No, we're invincible, like fire in the snow. Trust me when I say you are my beautiful world, and I'm feeling it all. We should make an effort. It's true you're so far away, and it's true you don't feel the same. But if you take my hand, we can try and go back. Starting from scratch, I won't let you go. No, I can't let you go, 'cause you're my gravity, and I will never leave. I won't let you go. No, baby, I will not.
Warning: the Duracell Cup Series data file you have attempted to access is out of date. Uploading current file now.
It's a brand new car from stem to stern, and it's never been raced at these speeds.
The next gen car is opportunity.
Everything is different with the exception of like the seat, the steering wheel, and your helmet.
Unknown creates excitement.
Talking about my generation.
And good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome here to a debuting racetrack as we continue on our 8th season of the NNSCRA Duracell Next Gen Cup Series, getting ready for race number 27 races removed from when the playoffs will be put together. And we are here this weekend, Cup drivers only at the Donkey Kong Jungle Raceway. That's right, folks, we have jumped into video game world here, and we are getting set for what is going to be, amazingly enough, only our second road course stop of the season. Sonoma, the only other road course we've been to so far here in Season 8. A lot of testing was done at this racetrack, a lot of good things, and hopefully it's going to bring about a really good race here this weekend. 2.44 miles in length, 15 difficult corners to make your way around. If I look at the layout of this racetrack, it reminds me an awful lot of some of the corners at Road America, including a very long front straightaway and a very long backstretch. It's not a straightaway, but it's a backstretch that will probably be where a lot of the passing zones will be, going down into turns 1 on the front straightaway and turn 12 on the back straightaway. Due to the fact this is a road course race, there will be a little bit more extended qualifying sessions here with our 2 rounds. Our go or go homers up first. They have 10 minutes and the clock has already begun running. And then the drivers that are locked in, as well as the 2 transferees, will be in the second round of qualifying that will run 15 minutes as opposed to the usual 10. Give drivers a little bit more of an opportunity to be able to turn the necessary laps here to be able to qualify on the pole. We do have a couple of drivers already out on the racetrack, including the 43 of Mike Tellier. Mike looking to make his second start on the season, the non-charter entry out of Bishop Family Racing. Tellier in his previous start started 20th and finished in 25th. Of course, not running for points here in the Cup Series side as he runs full-time for Bishop Family Racing down in the Light Series. But, you know, we talked about this last week. Opportunity here for a lot of the drivers that run full-time in the Light Series to run here in the Cup Series until Lights and Cup get back together next week at Kentucky. Mike Tellier is on the clock. And we'll see what type of a lap time he puts down here, setting the bar for everybody else. Saw Bryce Egan in the 9. There he is, making his way out of turn 15 and onto the front straightaway. He'll get his green flag, if you will, to begin his first official lap time. I believe we had 6 drivers attempting to qualify for 2 available spots. Nathan Fogler looking to make his Duracell Next Gen Cup Series debut. He's only made, I believe, 1 attempt prior to this, in which he failed to qualify. The Duracell Toyota out of Fogler Racing. I believe he is now on the clock as well. Hiccup Bush, he has attempted to qualify every race since, I believe it was Iowa, and has failed to yet make his Duracell Next Gen Cup Series debut. See if he's able to today. Mike Tellier going to maybe get a little bit of a draft off of him here down the front straightaway, as the first lap time set will be a 1:14.896 with 7 minutes remaining here in this opening qualifying session. Autumn Brooks in the 62 Mazda, Kyle Langland in the 93 right behind her. They've been really good knockout qualifying the last couple of weeks. Autumn looking to make her 13th start on the season. 2 top 5s, 4 top 10s in the 12 starts she has previously made. Kyle Langland, in his limited number of attempts, has qualified for 4 races, has scored 2 top 5s and 2 top 10s in those starts. And you can just see the elevation changes here at a track like Donkey Kong Jungle Raceway as well. So right now, Tellier and Egan are the only 2 that have clocked in lap times. Nathan Fogler just now in as well. Bryce Egan with a 1:15.358, 500ths better for Nathan Fogler at a 3:08. Let's go on board with Hiccup Bush and show you what it looks like to drive around Donkey Kong Jungle Raceway. Into turn 1, hard braking zone into 2 and 3 as he's right behind Mike Tellier. Little straightaway here with a bit of an uphill elevation before you hit the right-hand turn 4. Into the exit with turn 5, downhill slope into turn 6. Little bump there into turn 7. Left-hander into turn 8. And it's like a 3-turn corner, as there's turn 9. Another turn right here into turn 10. Before eventually the little hook right there into turn 11, into the long back stretch, where you will carry the most speed. Up into 6th gear, hitting 185, now to 190, 193 before you get to the heavy braking zone of the left-hand turn 12. Look at the play of the wheel there with the rear-end grip. Turn 13, right-hander into 14, and then the left-hander back into 15 as you can just see the car slip sliding around until you come back to the start-finish line. And that lap time right there, a 1:14.8 flat for Hiccup Bush, puts him 3rd on the board. Mike Tellier the fastest. He just improved his lap time to a 1:13.795. I believe Nathan Fogler currently with the 2nd fastest lap time, 1:14.345. Autumn Brooks just jumped to 2nd, 1:14.309. She just dropped down to 4th as Kyle Langland improved to 2nd, 1:14.034. And then a 1:14.037 for Bryce Egan now puts him to 3rd. So Mike Tellier and Kyle Langland, couple of Fords, currently the top 2 with 4 minutes remaining. So roughly about maybe another 2 laps, potentially 3, that you could put down dependent on where you are on the track right now. Kyle Langland, driving for World NOS Racing, the only team that has gone to victory lane at a road course previously this season. That would be with Daniel Voiles at Sonoma. And Langland just got dropped to 2nd. Let's see who's back now, gone to the top of the board. That's Nathan Fogler, 1:13.211. So we started out in the, about the 5s, then we went to the 4s, then the 3s, and now we're into the 2s. 4,000 slower that lap than his fastest lap for Mike Tellier, but he still, for the moment, holds the 2nd and final transfer spot. Immediately as I say that, he drops to 3rd. Who just crossed the line? Bryce Egan, 1:13.776, moves him on to the 2nd and final transfer spot. So we had a couple of Fords in the top 2 positions. Now a couple of Toyotas are at the top of the board. Nearing 2.5 minutes. Drivers that cross the line when there are zeros on the clock will more than likely be allowed to complete the lap they have started. Look at the bumps these drivers go over. Whether it's an uphill bump, a downhill dip, these drivers are going to have to work for it here tomorrow afternoon. Nathan Fogler just just fell to second place as Mike Tellier goes back to the top of the board. 112.679. That's a great lap time there for Mike. So Fogler now drops to second. Hiccup Bush actually moved up to third at a 113.387, dropping Bryce Egan down to fourth. And as soon as I say that, Bryce is back up to the top of the board. 112.444 for Bryce. So Bryce Egan, top of the board. Mike Tellier second. The only two drivers that have broken into the 112s. And make that three drivers that have now broken into the 112s. 112.879 for Nathan Fogler. But that is exactly 0.2 of a second slower than what he needs to be able to get into that second and final transfer spot. Mike Tellier, let's see if there's any improvement. There is. He'll still stay in second, but improves to a 112.529. Hiccup Bush with an improvement to a 113.033, but still trying to break into the 112s. This is quite a gaggle of cars here making their way through 13, 14, and 15. Autumn Brooks coming to pit road. She is sixth of the six drivers that have taken time. Improvement for Kyle Langland, but not by much. 113.044 still keeps him in fifth. And about 0.3 slower that lap for Bryce Egan. I'm not sure if he'll be able to improve on that 112.4. Nathan Fogler, let's see if there's improvement for him. There is, but only by about maybe 0.07 from a 112. What was it? A 112.879 now to a 112.810. Needs to find a little less than 300ths here. I'm sorry, a little less than 0.3 to get into a transfer spot, as we do have zeros on the clock, so I think he's on his final lap. And Mike Tellier just clocked in with a 111.693, top of the board for the 43 car. Hiccup Bush improves to third, 112.712. Last opportunity here for Kyle Langland off the track, giving it all he's got, but that's going to slow his lap time down, and no improvement for him. No improvement for Bryce Egan, though he still sits in the second spot. Last driver that may be able to set a lap time here might be Nathan Fogler. Got to beat a 112.444. He's got to find 0.4 on this lap. He found it! 112.366 for Nathan Fogler. Puts him to second, puts Bryce Egan on the outside looking in. Now the question is, does Bryce Egan get another lap here, or are the lap times going to be official? We'll see here when Mike Tellier crosses the line. Do they still score the 43? And they do not. No lap time counted for the 43. Nathan Fogler's going to make his Duracell Next Gen Cup Series debut, clocking in last minute at a 112.366, about 0.08 faster than Bryce Egan's 444. Mike Tellier going to be the fastest here at Donkey Kong Jungle Raceway as he clocks in at a 111.693. What a lap time for Mike Tellier, who was one of the first out there on the racetrack. And there is a look at the final qualifying results here from Knockout Q. Mike Tellier will make his second start on the season, a former Duracell Next Gen Cup Series winner, but you got to go all the way back to Season 5 for that. And Nathan Fogler will make his very first start in Duracell Next Gen Cup Series competition here tomorrow afternoon, making his debut in the 13 car. Bryce Egan just going to miss out with his 112.4. Hiccup Bush also broke into the 112s with a 7, but just on the outside looking in as far as the final two transfer spots. And Kyle Langland, Autumn Brooks didn't even break the 112s. 113.0 for Langland, 113.8 for Autumn Brooks. They just didn't, it seems, have the speed here this afternoon or this weekend, so we'll see them attempt to qualify next week in the Bluegrass State. Well, Mike Tellier and Nathan Fogler, job done at least for now in qualifying into the race. Now they can look to improve their qualifying position. Nobody has really had the opportunity to test out this racetrack. Tellier and Fogler will have a little bit of extra experience here upcoming against the other 40 drivers. We'll see if one of them might be able to not only qualify in, but start on the pole position. We'll find out in just a few moments, right after this commercial break. Qualifying continues here this weekend from the Donkey Kong Jungle Raceway in just a few moments. Thank you for tuning in to today's broadcast on NNSCRA TV. If you enjoyed your watching, it would help us out a lot if you'd hit that like button. Also, if you're not already, be sure to subscribe to become a part of the NNSCRA crew today. And if you're on your phone, be sure to click that bell to be notified whenever we have a broadcast here on NNSCRA TV. Once again, we thank you for your support, and we hope you continue to enjoy today's broadcast. We welcome you back here to Donkey Kong Jungle Raceway, as it's time to now find out who's going to capture the very first pole position at this unique road course. You know, normally we come to a racetrack and we've run it previously. We're able to go back. We're able to give you statistics of defending winners, former winners, what to expect. We've got none of that here this weekend. We're going to be learning as we go. One thing that we definitely were able to observe in the knockout qualifying session for the Go or Go Homers just moments ago, the longer you run, the better you have a chance of your lap times improving. As Mike Tellier, I think he was on his 5th or 6th lap and was able to be the only driver to break into the 111s. We'll probably see more drivers break into the 111s here, but the track is also going to be much more congested than it was with 42 drivers on the track as opposed to the previous 6 we had back in round 1. Cole Deaver going to be the first driver out on the racetrack. It looks like the driver out of S3 Motorsports. Deaver coming into this race 19th in points, 3 top 10s on the season in the first 19 races. Still hovering around in that conversation of maybe being able to have a late season push to get into the top 10 in the overall standings. He's certainly in the territory where if he were to go to victory lane here tomorrow afternoon, he could find himself in the wild card conversation. Looking to extend the streak at S3 Motorsports of 4 straight seasons with an S3 Motorsports driver winning the championship. Season 5, Kyle Matthews, Stephen Pollard III, and Caleb Fogler in a 3-driver effort. Season 6 saw Charles Sanford, and last season the defending champion Jessica Shelton. Cole Deaver on the clock for the first lap time here of the session. More drivers make their way out onto the track. That might hinder his lap time there a bit. James Qualls, Kyle Matthews, and Dylan Young. Second car that's already taken the green flag for his first lap time. Cody Lamas, the Carvana Chevrolet out of Llama Racing. Been a lot of rumors going on as it was officially announced that next season in Duracell Next Gen Cup Series competition, teams will only be allowed to field 3 chartered rides. And Llama Racing has opened up its doors potentially to fielding a second ride. If a driver has to move out of one of those bigger teams, I mean, a lot of the teams really not going to be all that affected by the news, but there's about 4 or 5 teams that field 4 chartered rides here even this season that may very well be affected by it. You got Young Motorsports, S3 Motorsports, Northeast Motorsports. There was another team, and I've just lost who they were. Oh, Michael Norman Motorsports, that's the other one. Lap times will start filing in here in just a few moments. As looks like some lap times have clocked in here of drivers that were behind the start-finish line, so their lap time was already scored, and they're down in the 140s. They have not actually officially started their lap times. Daniel Voiles right now top of the board at a 116.002. I do not expect that those lap times will stay in the 116s. I think we'll see improvements into at least the 112s here in this session. But Daniel Voiles is the only driver coming into this race that is a former winner this season at a road course. As mentioned, this is the second road course stop of the season. Our first road course stop was at Sonoma, and Daniel Voiles went to victory lane. And Voiles has been really on a good streak as of late. He was a driver that he and Nathan Norman, we were talking a lot about being outside of the top 30 in points, his Sonoma win not counting towards a playoff spot, and ever since the All-Star break, really ever since the last maybe 4 weeks or so, he has really improved in his finishes. He has now climbed his way out of the top 30 in points. He was up to 23rd in the standings. He hit a little bit of a bump in the road last week, but only dropped 3 spots in the standings, and he finds himself 26th in points. He is currently in a wild card position. So we'll see if having a victory formally is a little slow there for Daniel Voiles. I don't know if that car's power may have just cut out as he comes to a stop there on the downhill section. I believe that was over in, I think that's the entrance to 4. I'm not sure, but troubles there for the former road course winner here this season. Kyle Matthews right now in the 4th position. He had a pretty decent run last week at New Hampshire that moved him up into the top 30 in the point standings for maybe the first time this season. He is 30th in standings coming into this one. Right now he is 5th on the board. Now dropped to 7th as more drivers cross the line and improve their lap times. But Kyle Matthews, former champion of the series, just up ahead of him, 1 position higher as Matthews is now 10th. Qualls now 9th. James Qualls, former winner at Indianapolis, 6th in the standings. 115.485 right now for him. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe with it being a more congested racetrack, maybe we aren't going to see lap times down in the 111s, 112s like we saw with the go or go home drivers. Because the fastest lap time right now is Ryan Brommer. He's the only driver to hit the 114s, 114.995 right now for the former winner from Charlotte. And there he is, as a matter of fact, right now. Well, he just actually got moved down to 2nd. His teammate out of Auto Junction Racing just jumped to the top of the board, that being Laura Chung in the 77 to a 114.936. Again, around this point, we would have been 2 minutes into the session, as we normally run only 10 minutes in the second round of qualifying, but with it being a road course and it taking them a little more than a minute to complete a lap, NNSCRA officials giving an extra 5 minutes for a 15-minute round 2 session here for knockout qualifying. I mean, you think about it too, it's the only series we have here this weekend. It's a brand new racetrack, so I kind of like the idea of them giving that little bit of extra time to the drivers to not only try and get the pole, but have some extra laps under their belt, some extra experience here in preparation for when the green flag flies tomorrow and points are on the line. Mike Tellier was the fastest in go or go home qualifying moments ago, back in round 1, clocking in at a 111. Right now, he is 38th on the board of the 42 drivers that have taken time, at a 115.820, his fastest lap time. So it doesn't look like the speed is necessarily translated over here to round 2. And again, I think that that is largely in part to the fact that the track is much more congested with 42 cars out on the racetrack. There's not an opportunity to really have that clean air to the nose, that clean area to a braking zone as he had back in the first session. Reggie Fogelman up in the top 10 right now, hovering, well, he was 6th, then 7th, now 9th, 114.720 for the Taco Bell Toyota Camry. Reggie currently situated 29th in points, picked up 2 spots in the standings after last week at New Hampshire. And Zachary Fitzwater, a driver that we would certainly expect to take to a road course, the International Flair out of that number 83. Right now he sits 10th on the board in his Blue Oval Automotive Ford Mustang. Fitzy currently 23rd in points coming into this one. Still one of a number of drivers yet to score a top 5 this season. Cole Deaver, Daniel Bouchard, Laura Chung, Dylan Young, Austin LaPlante among our full-time drivers yet to score a top 5. 2 of those drivers I just mentioned are top 2 on the board right now, and that would be Laura Chung, currently sitting on the pole at a 1:14.235. Dylan Young would be on the outside of the front row if his 1:14.277 holds out. And hold that thought, they just both got displaced as Chevy goes to the top of the board. Jack Mitchell clocking in at a 1:13.886, the first driver to crest the 1:13 lap times. We're looking at Anthony McCurry out of Garage 55, another road course ace in the field. Right now, 9th on the board, 1:14.448 for the Panda Express Mazda. Another driver that's very good on the road course is Benjamin Snyder. Saw him almost pick up his first Duracell Next Gen Cup Series victory a couple of seasons ago at Sonoma. Right now he's 6th on the board, 1:14.113. And Nathan Fogler, who will be making his Cup Series debut here tomorrow afternoon after racing his way in knockout qualifying moments ago. Right now he's top 10, 1:14.195. Unofficially has him in the 8th position. Well, Mitchell went to the top of the board at a 1:13. Casey Hoyt joined him at a 1:13.988, but more drivers have now moved up into the 1:13s. The defending champion Jessica Schulten just clocked in at a 1:13. 1:13.944 for Shelton. Carson Gum now to the top of the board. Cole Deaver now to the top of the board. 4 minutes remaining, and we are still swip-swapping the pole position here at Donkey Kong Jungle Raceway. As here's a look at our points leader, co-points leader, I should say, coming into this race, that being Levi McIntyre. He and Carson Gum now tied up for the overall points lead in the standings at 528 points each. Carson drawing Levi back after last week at the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. And right now, both those drivers unofficially in much different areas of the starting grid. Carson Gum's up inside the top 10, unofficially in 6th. Levi McIntyre, well, he was 21st. Nice improvement there as he now moves up into the top 15, up to around the 13th spot. 1:13.972 for Levi McIntyre, who's still looking for his first win on the season. One of 4 drivers inside the top 10 in overall standings that is still looking for his first checker flag of season 8. Alexander Rowe, Quentin Moore, and Joshua Osborne also amongst the drivers running well in points, but still looking for that first checkered flag. Jesse Turner, 13th on the board right now, 1:13.806. Jesse coming into this one currently in the 22nd position in points. Had a great run last week in New Hampshire, gaining 4 spots. And Austin LaPlante, still looking for something good to happen for that race team. Only 2 top 10s in the first 19 races, 0 top 5s, and 40th of the 40 drivers that run full-time as chartered entries here in the Cup Series. Kyler Sustre, 18th fastest right now for him, 1:13.867. Sustre coming into this one 36th in points, only 1 top 5 on the season. That's his only top 10 as well. Nathan Ormond back in the top 30 in the standings, 28th in points, former winner of the season at Manassas, right now 12th on the board. And Jack Mitchell, we said for a time, was top of the board. He has since dropped to 7th fastest with a 1:13.408. Dylan Poteet is now the fastest at Donkey Kong Jungle Raceway, 1:13.013, and he's just lost that pole position, dropping to 2nd. Benjamin Snyder was at the top of the board for a moment. Let's see who now has jumped to the top of the board now. It's Cody Lamas, 1:12.795. So maybe that 1:11 lap time is not out of the realm of possibility. They've now eclipsed the 1:12s. Cody looking for, would this be his first pole of the season? Let's double check. Yes, it would. If the position holds, if the lap time holds. And of course, a lot of people looking back to Hillside Raceway. Cody was the dominant car there. It was looking like that was going to be his first win on the season. Got caught up in a wreck that took place at the very tail end of the lead lap. So looking for a little redemption here. Dylan Young right now is third on the board. 113.052 behind Poteet and Lamas. Somebody just jumped up in the top 3. Not sure who it was. I don't know if they may have taken the pole position or not. It was Carson Gum jumped up to second at a 112.846. That is just off of Cody Lamas' lap time. So Cody, for the moment, keeps his pole position intact. Matt Haas, former road course winner from Chatham a couple of seasons ago. That was back in season 6, so he's got road course experience. His only 2 victories this season, though, have come at the super speedways, as we've got zeros on the clock. Matt Haas right now 9th fastest, but it looks like there were 3 drivers actually that eclipsed the 112s, but 2 of them are going to start on the front row. Cody Lamas with a 112.7 and Carson Gum with a mid 112.8. Look like they are going to be the front row for tomorrow afternoon's race here from Donkey Kong Jungle Raceway. Ryan Brommer is going to clock in at a 112 as well. That is going to give him the... Whoa, hold that thought. More lap times just clocked in. And Cody just got taken off the top of the board. Poteet just improved to 3rd. Scoring is showing Caleb Fogler jumped to the top of the board and Shelton to 2nd. Fogler hit that 111. 111.785. Shelton 112.485. So there were zeros on the clock. I thought we might be in the possibility of lap times no longer being scored. That's apparently not the case. Lamas has now dropped from what was going to be, looked like the front row with Carson Gum, to now 6th and 7th for those 2 drivers respectively. So let's not give the pole position to anyone just yet. Right now, Caleb Fogler in the 28 car would be on the pole position. And this would be Fogler's 2nd pole on the season, if it holds, and it looks like it will. So there you go. Now session is complete, and Caleb Fogler, much like Mike Tellier back in the first round of qualifying, clocks in with the 111 to secure himself the fastest lap in the session, and Fogler will capture his 2nd pole on the season, becomes the 4th driver to have multiple poles this season, joining Eric Monaco, Nick Gunther, and Jessica Shelton, and he'll be leading us to green here tomorrow afternoon. Speaking of Shelton, she will start on the outside of the front row with her 112.485, and look at that, 6/1000ths over Dylan Poteet, with Benjamin Miles completing the top 4. So Ford, Dodge, Toyota, Chevrolet going to comprise the first 2 rows here tomorrow afternoon. Kyler Sestre's Toyota will be 5th. Cody Lamas and Carson Gum, they were, when zeros hit the clock there, in 1st and 2nd, but we had to account for drivers that had already started their lap before the zeros were on the clock, and they dropped to 6th and 7th. Nathan Orman will start 8th, Ryan Brommer in 9th, and Matt Haas is going to complete the top 10. Looks like I'm counting about 5 Toyotas, obviously the 1 Dodge, looks like 2 Fords, and only 1 Chevrolet up inside of the top 10 here for tomorrow afternoon's race. Levi McIntyre had a good improvement up to 13, so he and Carson Gum, the co-points leaders, will start only 6 positions apart. Gum will have the advantage track position-wise when they take the green flag. And you look a little bit further on down, there are a lot of drivers that were up at the top of the board at one point, and they find themselves outside the top 10. Now, Benjamin Snyder was top of the board. He's 14th on the starting grid. Matt McIntyre was top of the board. He'll start 17th. Jack Mitchell was top of the board. He'll start 19th. Looked like nobody was safe, even if they were able to, for a brief moment, be in P1. Nathan Fogler will make his Cup Series debut from the 18th position here tomorrow. And you'll take a look at some of the drivers that will be relying maybe on strategy tomorrow afternoon to be able to gain the track position they will not have at the start of the race. A lot of big names back there. You got Destin Bolin, of course, coming off his series-leading 4th win on the season after last week at New Hampshire. And you've also got Nick Gunther, road course driver, back there in the 41st position. It'll be fun to watch him cut his way through the field. Alexander Rowe, 4th in points. Going to be starting deep in traffic in 39th position. So we'll keep an eye on a lot of those drivers starting deep in the field. Will they be able to make their way up here to the front at the close of tomorrow's debut race here from Donkey Kong Jungle Raceway? And Caleb Fogel there in that 28. You know, we talk about Dustin Bolin. Well, how about the Caleb Fogler revenge tour, if you will? He more than likely would have won the race last week at New Hampshire, but he had an engine expire on him in the final stages of that race. And took a checker flag away from him. He's looking for that checker flag here 1 week later. So a lot of storylines will be following here tomorrow afternoon. Hope you guys are looking forward to it. I certainly am. Going to be a wild one here at the debuting Donkey Kong Jungle Raceway. Congratulations to Caleb Fogler on capturing his 2nd pole of the season. If you guys enjoyed today's qualifying session, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, part of the crew today. We've shown your starting lineup for tomorrow. We'll see you guys for the race, as it's going to be a good one. 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time right here on the NNSCRA Sports and Gaming Channel. You've been watching another broadcast courtesy of NNSCRA TV. Offline racing at its best. We'll see you guys tomorrow afternoon.
The following has been a presentation of NNSCRA TV for the private use of our audience. Any other use of this telecast or any pictures, descriptions, or accounts of the game without the consent of the NNSCRA is prohibited. NNSCRA would like to thank all of our loyal fans, and we hope you enjoyed today's broadcast.